Now, although we can see mapped ports there with the docker ps command, a better way to see it is with the docker port command. And we'll give it web1 as our container, and a little bit more information this time. And also, a little bit annoying actually, but displaying the port mapping the opposite way around to the way Docker PS does. So we can see TCP port 80 on our container, shown on the left this time, is mapped to port 5001 on all interface addresses on our Docker host. So that's what this 0.0.0.0 bit means. It's mapped to all IPv4 addresses on the Docker host. Okay, a couple of things then. First up, TCP or UDP? Well, by default, port mappings are assumed to be TCP, but Docker does let us map to UDP ports by slapping UDP onto the end of the -p switch. So if we bring that docker run command back, move our cursor back here, change that port to be 5002 this time, slap UDP onto the end, and don't forget to change the name to web2. Doesn't really matter what we call it, right, as long as we don't give it the name of an existing container. And I think we should be ready to go. Basically what we're doing is we're launching a second container, this time called web2, and we're mapping its port 80 to UDP port 5002 on the Docker host. Hit return. Okay, looks good. Docker port again, but this time with web2. There we go, UDP, but still on all IPv4 addresses on our Docker host. Well, let's look at what IP addresses we've got available on our Docker host. Good, so that's just showing us interfaces with an IPv4 address here on the Docker host. We're really only interested in ETH0 and ETH1. This time we'll go with this address here, 192.168.56.50. Right, let's say we just wanted our container's port 80 to be exposed on port 5003 on our Docker host, but only against the IP address 192.168.56.50. Well, let's bring that docker run command back again. Change the name to be web3 this time. Change the port mapping to be 192.168.56.50 on port 5003, and we'll lose this. Hit return. Docker port again. And there we go. Now one last thing on exposing ports. We can use the -P switch. This'll map all exposed ports on a container, so all ports marked as exposed in the Dockerfile, to random high-numbered ports on the Docker host. So let's jump quickly back to our Dockerfile and move down here, and we'll add a few more random ports. Save that, build a new image from it, just call it throw away, and away we go. Let's launch a container from it. -P here, remember, to expose all ports on random high-numbered ports on the host. Call it throw. Hit return. Docker port throw. There we go. All of our exposed ports map to random high-numbered ports on our Docker host. So that's exposing ports, and it's extremely common. Next up, we're going to look at something called linking containers.